Okay, now this is a very special new arrival. Literally turned up this morning and has come all the way from Texas in the USA. And this is the second engine to be donated to my YouTube channel. So a great many thanks again to the awesome Charlie Miller who sent this to me as a donation to my YouTube channel. And this is just an amazing bit of kit. This is an Empire B-33. One of the few electromechanical engines that Empire made, and it's massive. I mean, this is my hand, okay? And this is cast iron, this base. It weighs a ton. I didn't know what this was because Charlie wouldn't tell me. It was a surprise. So, and a really amazing surprise it was. So I checked the wiring over. I had to make a pulley up to go on the end of the flywheel shaft because the flywheel shaft was moving backwards and forwards. And one of the nuts that holds the contact, this contact on, was missing. And I set up the breaker down there. And what do you know? Look at that. Runs an absolute treat. Now it's going to need some work. There should be a metal guard that goes over this part of the works, and also there is a top with a small chimney smokestack for the dummy boiler. Mechanically and electrically, it's working a treat. So I need to strip it down and repaint the base and everything, but give the boiler a polish up. But no, there you go, straight out of the box. Isn't that amazing? Well, this is the Empire B-33 that Charlie Miller very kindly donated to my channel. Now it's been sat on my to be restored shelf for way too long, so it's now out on the workbench and has been stripped down into its component parts, ready for the first stage of restoration. I've already started. I've rewired the coils because the insulation on the coil wiring was all hard and cracked and was just falling apart, so that's been redone. The next stage will be to attack the castings and the flywheel and the switch cover with some paint stripper, and then we'll de-rust it, get it etch primed and ready for proper paint. But I just thought you might be interested in seeing the engine stripped down to its component parts. I mean, this is an amazing casting, the main engine casting. Look how thin the walls are on that. That's just quite incredible, really. So anyway, that's it for now. Well, here's the B-33 after the work's been done on the castings. Got most of the paint off. It's ready now for etch prime and then a respray. The main casting for the engine and that, this is quite a complicated, convoluted casting. So that's going to be fun to paint. That'll have to be strung up, I would imagine. But yeah, the rest of it's come up all right. So we're ready for the next stage. Well, here are the B-33 cast parts. They've been etch primed. It's been done a couple of days ago now, so they're now ready for their final coat of red paint. Well, I've been fairly busy with the restore of the Empire B-33. We've had some really good weather here in the UK the last week or so, so I was able to get on and do the painting in short order, and it's come out quite well. Always helps when you can bake it outside in 30-degree sun, which is really nice. It obviously is not finished yet. It still needs the top of the dummy boiler and the smokestack, and there should be a guard. We'll wait for it to come around. There should be a guard over here, and there should be a nameplate here. Hopefully my boy is going to help me out with some of those items. I had to make a new pulley that was missing the pulley completely, so that's brand new. Just turned that one up on the lathe. I've done a lot of rewiring on it. A lot of the old wiring was in really poor condition. There's a new transformer inside here. I made a small spacer up here because it wasn't quite lined up right. I don't know whether, I'll have to have a look on my other one. I'm not sure whether there is a spacer. There was a spacer there, but originally, and it's just been lost from this one. But in order to get the conrod and switch rod lined up straight, you need to move this over very slightly. You'll see that as it comes round. See, there's a little brass spacer in there. If you put it up against the crankshaft mount without that spacer, then the rods aren't straight. They are all skew width. So But yeah, it's looking good. I'm well pleased with it so far. As I said, there's a little bit more still to do, but we are getting there. We are definitely getting there. So there we go. That's the Empire B-33. Well, the restoration of the B-33, Empire B-33, is finally done. This is the first B-33 that I had in my collection, and before I go on to talk about the restoration and what's been done and everything, I just want to say a really big thank you to two people who, without their help, this wouldn't have happened. First up is Charlie Miller, who very, very kindly donated this engine to my YouTube channel. Now, it was in a bit of a state, but that's not the point. These are quite rare Empire B-33s, and it was an extremely generous donation of him to make to my channel. Now, when it arrived, it did actually run, though obviously it was missing quite a lot. But since it's been here, when I came to run it after I'd done the restore, the transformer, which is inside here, was outputting intermittent voltages, so I think it was the windings were starting to break down. So I have actually replaced the transformer. Now, the second person who I need to thank is Myford Boy, because he is currently doing a replica build of exactly one of these engines, and during his build he very kindly cast a boiler cap for me. Now, he needed one for his, obviously needed one for his replica build, but this particular Empire B-33 was missing that boiler cap, so he very kindly did two. He did one for himself and he did one for me. So this is an actual Myford Boy casting. So yeah, I'm very, very honoured to have that, and it is, like all his castings, it's absolutely superb. So yes, thank you to Myford Boy and thank you to Charlie Miller. Right, so yeah, it's finished now. So what has been done? What has been manufactured here? So, well, obviously the chimney, the boiler cap, and I've made a new chimney for it because that was missing. The guard over the crank, this guard here, that was missing, so I've had to make that. Fortunately, I had one as a pattern on the second B-33 that I've got. The pulley was completely gone on this, so I had to make a new one. But the most difficult thing, and I really didn't know how I was going to do this, was to make this dummy flyball governor, which was also completely missing. Now, the pulley that it sits on is fairly straightforward. You just commission machine up on the lathe. But how was I going to do this? So in the end, I opted to use the one on the other B-33 I've got as a pattern, and I cast it out of that hard lead that I used on the Bing hot air engine, and it's actually come out quite well. It's a bit wobbly, but it actually has come out quite well, and it does the job, so I'm well pleased with that. Other than that, it was basically just stripping down and cleaning off all the old paint, etch, prime and repaint, and cleaning up all the other parts. But yeah, it's come out really, really well. I hope that you're happy with this, Charlie. I certainly am. It's superb. Oh, another thing that Myford Boy supplied was the decal for the nameplate. The nameplate was completely missing on this engine, but Myford Boy has an excellent process for making replacement nameplate decals, and he very kindly supplied me one for this engine. So yeah, it's all there. It's all there, and it's done, and it's just, I think it's come out very nice. So right, let's get it running. Okay, here we go. Now, I measured the voltage of the original transformer that was in here, and it was 20 volts AC output. So that's what I've got in there, is a 20 volt transformer. So as you can see, that's more than enough to power it. You get quite a spark show from the contacts, as you would expect. And I get a similar sort of show of sparks on my the electromagnet engine that I built recently as well. But there you go. So Empire B-33 chugging away quite nicely after its restore. So thanks again to Charlie for donating it, and obviously Myford Boy for the supplied replacement parts. Couldn't have done it without either of you two guys. Thank you so much. So there you go. Empire B-33 in action. It's fairly quiet when it runs actually. It doesn't make an awful lot of noise. Okay, that's it for this restore on this lovely Empire engine. If you ever get the chance to get one of these, I thoroughly recommend you snap them up because they are really, really nice engines. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.